I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Good morning, everybody. Please stand as you are able, and we are going to sing Oneness. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I realize there's only one power. 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 I realize I'm one with the one. I realize I'm one with the one. I realize I'm one with the one. I realize I'm one with the one.
So, who's daily wording? I knew it. I looked at the list last night. You ready? Miss Louise. Thank you. See, everything we need. Well, and now it's you, my love.
Are we ready? Yep. Today's grace. With joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. The guiding, healing, harmonizing presence and power of God is everywhere present. Divine grace is mine whenever I say yes to the presence within you and me. I realize any thought that I am unworthy of grace. Nothing I could do or fail to do would ever disturb my divine identity. Grace need not be earned, nor can it be bought. It is inexhaustible. No matter how much comes my way, I can relax in complete trust that even more will be available as I need it. Grace doesn't happen to me, it expresses through me. Just as I have been blessed to receive grace when I have needed it, I am honored to be the conduit through which it flows to someone else, blessing them in a time of need. And from 2 Corinthians 4:15, yes, everything is for your sake, so that grace, as it extends to more and more people, may increase thanksgiving to the glory of God.
Thank you. What a wonderful daily word.
Yes, it is. I'm saving it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are things?
Here we are. We're here.
Some of you bought photo thingies. We're having coffee one of these days soon. Yeah. Somebody else is having coffee with somebody else. There's magic mixing going on. So consult the the photo, whatever that says.
Fundraiser.
Oh, that's it. Fun.
We have a price drop.
Price
As of
drop.
Friday, there's been a price drop.
So
Oh,
that's a good news.
we have a sale?
I might actually buy something.
Yeah.
So check the board again.
Great. Please. Yay.
Thank you, Ward.
I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the whole Sunday morning. Margot and I had our hair cut. Aren't we good? Mine will not be with me soon, and we decided to go as short as we could. It's perfect, isn't it? All you do is, it's perfect. If you've spent a lifetime fussing with your hair, I'm sorry. Good morning if you're online. It's just how many hours, my friends, have we spent doing hair? And what a relief one day. Not when it all goes. That's not a relief. But this really works. And good morning again if you're online this morning. We welcome you to Unity Skagit Valley on this Sunday morning in June. A beautiful day. Many of us, when it clouds over and there are a few raindrops, say, oh, we've missed it. And then in another week or so, we'll say, where is the sun? Where is the sun? It's that complaining thing. Can we be satisfied in the day as it is, as we are in the place we find ourselves? That's the question this morning. That's the question around which the lesson is centered. Can I choose to be at peace, to be satisfied, to be fulfilled with this day as it is, with me as I am, in the place I find myself now? And if not, why not? If not, what is it that's keeping us in our mental belief from accepting the fullness of the goodness that is ours today? In the midst of this very breath, in the midst of this very moment, everything you need is present. And your presence here is evidence that somehow, as we continue to awaken and experience more and more truth in our lives, we are hungry for good. We are hungry to be not just receivers of good, but to be sharers of good, to awaken others through the experience of our living in keeping with the truth that makes us free. Unity is based on the teachings of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and those who came before them, as an inspiration to all, that we might rise up, recognize the truth of our being, live that into the fullness of life, and allow the fullness of life to be the truth of our being. And so no matter what condition, no matter what the day holds, in this moment in time we can declare and proclaim, I am one with my good right now. I am one with my good right now. I am, I heard somebody say. I'm one with my good right now. And when we don't remember that, we have all kinds of things to read, uplift, and inspire us into remembering that as our truth. And so we welcome you in the room and those of you online in the warm and loving spirit of unity. May we all be blessed. May we all know the fullness of blessing for ourselves in this day and throughout our service. When we say in unity we believe there's only one presence and one power active in your life and mine, God the good, omnipotent, we mean there's only one presence and one power. It's not, there's a presence and power over here and a you over there. There's a presence and power over here and evil over there. There's a presence and power over here and a separation over there. There is, we say, but one presence and one power. It is the wisdom, the intelligence in and through and as all. Divine wisdom, wholeness, perfection. As we grow into that understanding, we come to see that we are the not extension of, not the puppet of, but the beholder of and the living presence of this that we call the one presence and power. The more we come into attunement with that awareness, the more free we become. And the more free we become, the more available we are to more and more and more evident blessings. And so there is one presence and one power active in your life and in mine as all wisdom, as all light, as all love, here and now. And not just here and now, but always. We have a lot going on. We've got a lot of things happening here. Drumming circles coming up. First Wednesday of every month. Huh? But it's going to happen again, I assume. In July. I'm not going to be here next week. Just an announcement. So I just try to get these things out there so people are using them. Drumming circle, first Sunday of each month. Wednesdays, second Wednesday this month. Music with those two. Yahoo! Ireland and Ward, 7 to 8. Starting on the, it doesn't give me a date. Huh?
14th at 7.
14th, coming right up.
No.
Huh?
Flag Day, which is,
I heard that.
I'll leave my
It-
flag.
I'm just working on this, folks. I got a pile of them. I don't know what's here, what's not here, where we're going. I told you we were going to create an hour of church together. Here we go. All right. Any other announcements I need to make? Oh, here's your announcement. The Fox and the Fossil. Guess who's who? Yeah. Okay. 14. Understanding the Enneagram. It's my understanding there were 18 of you last week. And it must have blown Kathleen right out of the water that you all showed up. Thank you for that. The Enneagram. You can still join this week. I think she'd like it if people get the first lessons in. But if you can still join, is that ongoingly, Sam? Just now. Got it. Tuesday morning is the 11 to 12:30, and goes on through July 25th with love offerings. I love it. I wish I could be there with you. And yesterday I was doing my random church thing. I kind of go through and see what churches are doing. And I happened to step right in to Byron Katie doing a teaching in Santa Barbara, Unity of Santa Barbara. Not upcoming, it was happening right then, live. And so I got 2 hours of Byron Katie training. And what do you think she started with? Complaining. Not she was complaining, she was teaching about complaining. And complaints, what's your greatest complaint, is your greatest learning experience in any given moment in time. I was like, yoo-hoo, and she's talking about complaints. I love that. Ellen's here, Andrew's here, Ward and Ireland are here. Denise, you were greeting. And thank you for your kitchen duty. That sounds trite, your kitchen duty. For your extraordinary ability to keep the kitchen operating in perfection. You should just send me home. You should send me home now. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Prayer ministers want to support you. They do. All you have to do is fill out a slip or go to unitysd.org and fill out a prayer request, and they are on it immediately, if not sooner, because everybody already knows that God knows every need before we ask. My friend Mary Ellen's here. Morning, honey. Never know who's going to walk in the door. Just never know. All right, I did the announcement. Oh, yes, and I did not forget, but I might have slipped for a minute. Cleo, would you come talk to us?
Before she gets started,
Yes, ma'am.
please be aware, beloved parishioners, there is decaf over here.
Come on up, Ben. Decaf coffee.
Good morning. Another report. Let's see. One, we're really coming up on the deadline, and today is the day of the last of the intake, so to speak, and we really experienced a really beautiful giving today. So we're going to be bringing some things in that will be worked on Tuesday. That will be our last work party, and they should be parties, you know. This is a great thing we're doing. We're getting very close to 600 listings in the auction. I had a conversation with our host, and I got a feeling for where we at as far as your typical auction. He said, a little bit low. So what he is going to do, is offered to do, as soon as I give him the go, which I think is going to be next Wednesday, he is going to send out an email blast to everyone on his client list to get eyes on our auction, which is a real gift. So, and then the other part of my message is this. Thank you for those of you who are gifting your services and abilities for the last section of the auction, and those are considering it. I really want to encourage you, if you have some gift, it might be window washing, it might be tarot readings. I mean, we are going to get woo-woo here. So what I'm saying is encouraging you to offer a service just for the fun of it. Maybe put yourself out a little bit to say, yeah, I think I could let the world know I have this gift. And it's a way of putting yourself through a new experience or an old experience. So if that's the case, I would need a photograph of you, and that isn't a must, but it would be nice, a brief explanation of what it is you do, and that'll be it. We'll get you up in a group, and I've gotten the information from Steve Mason, who started all this, as far as this idea goes. The other thing is next Sunday after the service, I would very much like to have a brief team meeting, because the following week will be the auction will start and complete itself online on the 22nd. The 23rd is the team party, big time, to pull all these amazing gifts together, because all the invoices are going to be picked up, brought in, and then we're going to have a major scavenger hunt pulling all these together to match up invoices. And then there's a couple other surprise things that showed up. So a team is needed. And then on the following day, which is a Saturday, is the public will be coming here to pick up their winnings. And that means people that would greet them and help them collect them and make sure that everything goes smoothly. And I think that's pretty much it, other than a huge thank you.
So give the name of the program again, would you? The
The-
name of the program.
It's the, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I can't.
If you are signed up to get our biweekly emails, in there is the treasure hunting auction, or prosperity treasure hunting auction. In that is a link to go look at the auction, and boy, I encourage you to do that. It is so amazing, the gifting that has come from our community. And then there's my contact information if you need some support and help with the process.
Okay? There are a lot of pieces in that. Talk to Cleo after the service. Yes, ma'am.
Directories are sitting in the basket,
Ah,
right there, available for whomever.
okay.
They've been published and put out.
So,
I just want to say, if anybody takes one, we need to respect people's privacy and use them in an ethical way.
It says that on
Yeah.
the directory.
But we take that seriously.
got it? We're busy here. Yes, ma'am.
I just want, I watched them with that directory. Every one of us should totally be thankful.
Okay, so if you want phone numbers, if you want an address in particular, you may take one of the directories, honor the way in which it was given to you. Don't share it. Don't send it off to whoever wants one. We'd like it if you would come and pick it up here in the sanctuary. And yes, indeed, a team of people worked to make it happen, and it's as current as it can possibly be. So thank you for that. And they're over on the table.
Henceforth, we shall be known as Community Auction House.
Yes. You all are as squirrely as I am this morning. That is really not good news. You know, this thing about chemo brain is true. What it takes to hold it together is like, wow. Wow. And we all have a little contagion of it this morning. So if you're online, we're having a good time here. And we're sorry you're not with us. So, what do you think? You ready just to let go of all that and everything else too? What if you could just take a breath and let go of everything that's been running through your mind? And remember that it's not going to disappear. It'll still be there, but you can allow it to be there without bringing the fullness of your attention to it. There's always a train running through your mind with a lot of cars on it. Even the great masters say, it isn't that it's quiet in your head, it's quiet inwardly, and you expand the space so that there can be that movement, that incredible movement. And then one day, you're in the stillness, aware of yourself being present, and something happens. A door opens, and you go to a place for a moment that's free of thought. And in that moment, you have entered the true sanctuary of your being. It's a moment unlike any other. It changes everything. Blessing to the world is our song as we prepare for being quiet. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
I am the hands and the voice of spirit on earth. As you settle in, feel your feet on the floor and the chair beneath you, and relax. Let yourself be held. I can remind myself that I'm safe. In this moment, in this breath, I am safe. In the experience of my being, I send that message to the busyness of my mind. I send the message to the upward and downward movement of life flowing in and through my bloodstream, flowing in and through my body, flowing in and through the deep inner spaces of my being. I am safe. Oh, there may be a loud noise, or someone may cough, or a phone may ring, and immediately we jump into action for a moment. Everything moves into an activity that we can then breathe deeply and release. But the mind is full, we say. The mind is full. It won't quiet. It won't still. It's just going and going and going. And we breathe into the space of the mind, into the spaciousness of that which we call the mind. And we say gently, lovingly, I'm safe. I'm safe. in the living, loving presence, the spirit of my being, the divine presence and perfection. Everything is moving in accord with divine wisdom. In harmony and order. I am safe. I am loved. I can let go. I can allow the movement of the reality of my being to flow freely in and through and as me now. I can let go. And with your breath, you let go. You take that breath and you take it to the deepest place of your being. And as you release it, you let go. Take your hands off that tight hold and allow the allness of the One to flow freely and easily in and through you now. And the mind continues on its journey, thought after thought. But the heart and your being respond. I can let go now. The Spirit of God within me reveals the way. I am guided. And God's way is always the way of opening, expanding, revealing. When I ask, what is the need? I open myself to know that in asking I have opened the door for a need that is already met. I am safe. I am loved. I am guided. I can let go. I can trust that the guiding presence within me reveals what I need to know when I need to know it. And that in that revelation, each step I take is blessed and leading me into higher and higher good. I am safe. I am loved. I let go to the highest wisdom at work within me and at work within my life and at work within this world. I can let go in the knowing that all good is being made manifest. And in this breath is the fullness of all I need. In that realization, and with that deep breath that you just took, know that you are indeed blessed, that the universe is at work in you, through you, and as you, bringing forth blessing upon blessing upon blessing. In this knowing we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. We are called to be the kindness set the broken-hearted free. We are called to be forgiveness where pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then we can succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth we seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and we are one with me. We are called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. What a great song. Thank you. She is a special one, that one. We are so fortunate. All right. Your second favorite week in a row. Don't complain. It's the teaching, it's the practice, it's the what's up. Don't complain. Now really, how many times a day do we or don't we? Is not the issue. It is, can we shift from a complaining mind into a mind that continues to grow, explore itself, and become more and more aware? It's the blindness to these things that get us in trouble. That it's like a rote thing that goes on in the background. So now I find myself after like 3 or 4 weeks of really being in this exploration, asking, was that a complaint? Or was that an observation? And you've got to be really careful with that. There's a fine line there. And a complaint is, I think, that moment when I move into this shouldn't be, or it shouldn't be that way. It's that it shouldn't be that way. Why is it that way? It happens at traffic. It shouldn't be. Well, what do you know about that? By the time you've had a complaint about it, it already is. I mean, is that true? But the capacity for all of these things to continue to expand our awareness is where we start finding moments of peace, instead deep peace, a more enduring peace, instead of this repetition of being triggered again and again and again. What we talked about, what I talked about last week, was the narrowing down of the focus of our being around these things that shouldn't be, and the ways in which we meet those. There are many things we don't agree about. There are many things we can observe and say, I'm not on board with that. There are a whole lot of things we look at and say, that doesn't work for me. I find those to be more clear statements than the nye, 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 nye. You remember in 2007 at a church in Kansas City, the minister decided to do a program called A Complaint-Free Life. Do you remember? 21 days. Anybody remember 2000? Anybody remember 2007? Anybody remember your bracelet? Yeah. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it was a 21-day program to become complaint-free. He said, all I hear is one complaint after another about what doesn't work. He said, I'm challenging people to take action instead of simply to be in that state of this is wrong, that's wrong, something's always wrong. Being a scoping for that, being a scan for that. Well, of course things trigger us. How would we grow if we weren't constantly poked and provoked by our own dynamics? How would we grow in awareness if we weren't having these things and opportunities to bring to attention what it is that's taking our peace from us? I said last week, my friend Martha Creek, my peace is the most important thing to me. She transformed me in that moment. Did it stay? No. I have to make that choice over and over again, right? They've been practicing all week. My peace is the most important thing to me. That doesn't mean I'm not going to have condition. It doesn't mean there's not going to be upset. It doesn't mean there won't be heavy traffic. It doesn't mean I won't be late. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means I can and it can bring more peace. I can accept it in a different way, and I don't mean passively. I mean in self-exploration and self-examination. Complaints never fix anything. We used to have complaint boxes in our churches. Talk about a full host of opportunity for growth. If you notice, they don't have them anymore in any church I've been in for a long time, and we don't have one. It isn't that we don't want to hear what's going on with you, but we believe that we are moving into a kind of spiritual maturity that allows us to take responsibility for our own thoughts. That the mind of us is an active, cooperative work. And we choose where we put our energy. Alan Cohen tells the story of a little girl who was his goddaughter. And the family has been having a hard time, and the child said, come see my new house. And as it happened, it was a bus, basically, that had been added onto. And he said, the child took me by the hand, guided me up a makeshift staircase that led to a small wooden addition that had been superimposed over the roof of the bus. I shuddered to observe that her room was in the same condition as the rest of the place, just barely livable. Looking around, I noticed one fairly attractive element of her room, a colorful tapestry hanging over one section of the room that could be called a wall. I said to her, how do you feel about living here? And her face lit up and she said, I love my wall. She's 10. I was stunned and she wasn't kidding. She actually enjoyed the place because of this wall. The child found a touch of heaven in the midst of hell, and this is what she chose to focus on. and she was happy. I drove home in a state of awe, he said. This 10-year-old saw her life through eyes of appreciation, and it made all the difference. I began to consider all the things in my life that I've complained about. I realized that in my preoccupation with what isn't there, I have been missing what is. And while focusing on rusty metal, I've overlooked some colorful tapestries. I made her statement my meditation. I love my wall. Wait a minute. I love my wall? I love the part of me that teaches me to grow. I love the part of me that comes up against my wall, whatever that might be, and allows me to continue to awaken in terms of my own spiritual reality and my own life focus. I love my wall, not to stay behind it, not to stay in the rut, not to stay in the box, but to explore myself. And in this study of Emma Curtis Hopkins that I mentioned last week and referred to, she's amazing, you know. She's writing and teaching and being a woman in incredible leadership roles. She's a mystic and a theologian, and it's 1845. And she's had the courage to step away from Dr. Mary Baker Eddy, who was the head of Christian Science at the time. And she stepped away because she has her own mind, and she has her own thoughts, and she has her own way of seeing truth. But she's seeing a truth that's profound, and she becomes the teacher for all of these early streams of what we call New Thought, including the Fillmores. There was a teacher of Emma Curtis Hopkins who that day was speaking when Myrtle Fillmore, the mother of Unity, heard the words, "I do not inherit sickness," and began to transform her life through what? Changing her mind, changing her relationship with all of the false ideas she was living out that were not the baseline reality of the truth of our beings, the truth of our lives. And Emma Curtis Hopkins was the messenger, if you will, that brought this out into various streams of consciousness in an incredibly life-transforming way for the people of that time and for us today. So when I recently heard another minister say, and Emma Curtis Hopkins says, this one primary truth, and it is, don't complain because you're missing everything beautiful in your life. I looked at that, and I looked at my own experience, and I thought, I'm really going to study this to see, am I hiding my complaints? They may not come out of my mouth, but how many times a day does that thought run through your mind? Whichever thought it is, there are more thoughts than one could ever think. And they all have a mind of their own. And they're all attached to a projection, which is how we see the world, how we see our experience, how we see and relate to whatever it is that is present around us in any given moment. I loved Byron Katie yesterday when she said, none of us see each other. You think you're having a conversation with someone? No, she said you're having a conversation of your own projection of mind into the experience, believing that you know. That's the way human beings operate. And unexplored or unexamined, it means we become the victim and the prisoner, if you will, of an unexamined mental state. You say, well, I've done my examination and I've come this far and this far and this far and this far down the road, but if my mind is any indication, it doesn't matter how many years I've been studying this stuff or teaching it. That same goes on here until I look at it and see it's an inclination, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the reality. How much freedom would there be if we didn't spend all that time doing that? So I was reminded of Moses, God bless him. And they grumbled. That's the word. New International Version. And they grumbled, and they grumbled, and they grumbled. And God said, why can't they see what's right in front of them? No, they could see the past. They could see probably they were going to starve tomorrow. But they couldn't see what was present with them now. And Moses is like, save me from these people. Now, I'm not projecting that anywhere but into the world in those pockets that really trigger me, but or into my own mind, these people, these thought people. Save me from these grumbling thought people that can't appreciate the beauty of this dogwood and the lily. Oh, because I'm too, thank you, Dee, because I'm too busy thinking about what I'm thinking about. So the Israelites, so they leave Egypt, and here's their familiar statement. We all have our own. Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? What do you see? You see blame. What do you see? No insight. It's like, you did it to us. I didn't do it. You did it to me. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. They witnessed the Red Sea. Doesn't mean a damn thing. They come to the other side and they began to grumble about no water. I'm not kidding. You know this story. We're going to die of thirst in the desert. Oh my God. And Moses gets a message, and so he takes right action. He said, but while they're on the banks, before they cross the Red Sea, this is what he said: don't be afraid. Stand firm. But there's another version that says, sit down and be still. Do not be afraid. Sit down. Be still, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring to you today. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Ooh. Boy, that thing I'm like stuck on, the Lord is fighting for you. But not in literal sense fighting. Like always penetrating each moment, each experience, everything with presence, possibility. Stand firm, sit still, hold, wait, watch. The presence is always presencing. No, I have to fix it. You have to fix it. No, you should fix it. And by the way, you should fix it for me. Just fix it. Somebody fix it is one of our high prayers. Help, number one, and somebody should do something about this, is a very high prayer. It doesn't work, but it's a very high prayer. So they're across the Red Sea. The water is bitter. The people are grumbling. What are we to drink? Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood, and he threw it into the water, and the water became fit to drink. Great. And then they came near to a place where there was water and palm trees. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? Anybody ready for your palm tree vacation? Yeah. So the whole Israelite community set out in the desert, and the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron, his brother. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. But you've brought us out into the desert to starve this entire assembly to death." You brought me here. The entire assembly. You remember? How many? I don't know. It looked like a lot in the movie. I don't know. It's hard to know, right? Yeah. Oh, man. And then there was bread, and then that wasn't enough, and then their quail came, and that wasn't enough, and they're grumbling and grumbling and grumbling, and they never stopped. And they never stopped. The whole story is one grumble after another, and one belief after another demonstrated. If I put it in my own head, the amount of blame we assign to a loving universe that only wants to do one basic thing for us: raise us up and care for us. The amount of blame about, I took this step and my life went to hell in a handbasket, and then it's this one, and then it's that one. But then as we wake up, we see that those are some of the best things that happen to us. Why? Because they give us an opportunity to see ourselves on the big screen and begin to adjust the very things that are robbing us of our peace and our well-being. I could see this differently. I could be with this in a way that's transformational for me and for that which I see before me that I believe is trying to hurt me or harm me in some way or another. So, Emma Curtis Hopkins says, get ready. Here are the practices. Don't complain was number one. Don't accuse. Take a deep breath. Don't accuse. Projection is a thought process. It's your thought. We have enough work to do on ourselves, she said. We have enough work to do on ourselves to take responsibility for our spiritual maturity, to see that everyone is living in their own state of reality. Everyone is living in their own state of reality. The only one I can do anything about is the one who's standing in these shoes that frequently get pretty uncomfortable when I'm about to blame the person I live with, or the world, or someone else for my growth opportunity that is precipitating this discomfort in me. Don't accuse means I look first to myself, and that 2 hours I spent with Byron Katie live yesterday, the whole thing was unraveling how our thoughts get us into the mess we're in, and that we can turn those around once we see them for what they are into opportunity rather than action that creates separation, distancing, and harm. To me, most especially, but then projected out to others. Don't pretend to be stupid, she said. Not quite with those words, but she used big words. The divine intelligence that holds the entire cosmos and beyond what we can imagine in perfect order is the wisdom that flows in and through every element and aspect of creation in every and all moments of expansion. Don't pretend, she said, that you are not the recipient of the divine intelligence that is the very guiding and orderly force in the universe. And that's where your guidance comes. And that's where the power comes. And that's where the transformation comes. And that's where the expansion comes. And that's where the revelation comes, that we finally see ourselves as free and whole. Divine intelligence that holds all in perfection is the infinite wisdom at work in you. I like it. I'm not fighting against it. Don't pretend that there's no wisdom available for you in the moment in which you find yourself, whatever that is. And don't ever give up on the good. Don't ever give up on the good, on love, on the power of love. Be willing for new direction and get out of the way. Get out of Spirit's way. It knows how to do that which needs doing, needs seeing. And part of that becomes very uncomfortable because it brings us right into the heart of ourselves. Right into the heart of what we've patterned into our way of seeing and being. And when we start to break up the crust of that, in that what we call chemicalization process, where we begin to see from a different way of seeing, things start to crumble. Those old walls, those old ways of being that are so familiar are no longer our preference, because my peace is the most important thing to me. Because the transformation of this incredible beingness that's taking place in me may make me very uncomfortable, but it's my greatest opportunity to meet and rise above those things that keep me buried in old ways of thinking and seeing and being. We look at them not with blame. You think you're in this alone, like you're the one. We're all in this together. This is the way human beings think. Divine beings have an opportunity, if you will, to play in a field that recognizes that it is more than just one problem after another. a bigger idea. We focus, then we shift to a bigger idea. Believe something you haven't believed before about you, about your life. Believe, stretch that awareness, and don't pretend that you can't. It's the very awareness in you that's doing that work, which is amazing. It's precipitating what seems to be tear you apart discomfort, but what it is also the wisdom that is resolving and expanding that in this very moment with new awareness. Where do you think new awareness comes from? Did you make it up? No. It's a flood of spirit moving in and through you and me, always. And it's always there to be seen for what it is. The true spirit of our being at work. And when we look to that, to the higher and the more, when we shift from the complaint into thanksgiving, when we shift from the complaint into what's blossoming outside our front door or in our world or what we've never seen before, somehow it shifts and we've given ourselves over to that which is higher, that which is good. And in that shift, we begin to see it from a different place. And we say, I am tired of this. I have shifted and shifted and shifted. Well, as far as I can tell, as long as we're here, we're going to be doing that work. And if you're spiritually committed, you're hungry for it. You want to be free. You want peace. You want that sense of true satisfaction and a feeling of well-being. You want that. And on the days you don't want that, it's because something has captured you in a way that invites you to see that there's something more at work here. And in the seeing of that, all possibility is present. So I have words and words and words of Emma Curtis Hopkins' friends. But no more for today. I think that's sufficient. It's like my whole life going on. Every opportunity, friends. If it's not working for you, you can stand up and say, that doesn't work for me. I'm not saying lay down and roll around and make nice with everything. I'm saying, if it doesn't work for you, stand in the clearing of that with guidance and direction and the openness of your being to see what it is that stands behind the very thing that distresses you the most. Something pops and you think, oh, I could change my mind about that. And then it's different than it was. So know that you are loved. It can't be any other way. Know that the good is pushing down the walls of your being. It can't be any other way. And there's nothing in this universe that wants harm for you, ever, that isn't the creation of something we believe that's not true. Our upsets are always an invitation and an opportunity. Thank you all for letting me do that lesson twice and about 100 times this week. And in the week to come, I think I'll have a whole lot more opportunities. It's chemo week coming right up. Can't wait, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's chemo week coming up. Day 21 coming up on Thursday. What are you going to do? Well, it's a question, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not there yet. But I can tell you that in the moment that I am, there'll be a whole lot of opportunities for me to be with my choice or on automatic pilot. What do you think? I choose choice. When I can, I choose choice. Thank you for your love offerings. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for coming here on Sunday mornings and dedicating yourself to growing in ways that are really so amazing on this planet. Consciously growing in awareness is a really big deal. And our love offerings are that which allow us to do business, to be present here on a Sunday morning. As we bless our offering, we do so consciously, with thanksgiving, not with shortage, not with lack, not with limitation, but in gratitude for abundance. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And so it is. Dee did the flowers today, and they are beautiful. Yay, you. Thank you. I think we have children coming, but we could just small voices. Miss Lily Rose. Next week is Father's Day, everyone. Am I speaking? No. We're going to do a Martha Creek on living with regret. It's a powerful thing. Hello, you. Unique. Miss Unique. Hi, Caden. How are you? Good to see you. Getting to be such a big boy, huh? Yeah. And little Miss Sky. There you go. Let's bless our kids. Just the way you are. Yay! Can we share our prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I can't do a lot of mingling right now, but however, I'm hugging you and loving you, and I'm not sneaking out because I want to. It's just better for my body right now. So thank you, and I love you so much. Let's sing our peace song.